From all over the country, the very best accounting students converge on Sunway City. Over the years, Sunway College has developed thousands of successful accountants.
We are the largest provider of professional accountants to the Big Five in Malaysia. This is a serious profession, and at Sunway College, we mean business.
Hello everyone, welcome for this enlightening Saturday afternoon talk. Joining me today would be Mr. Jack, a senior lecturer, as well as Mr. Teo Is Sing, executive director of Sunway College, and myself, Kiran, Seth, senior lecturer as well. I'm going to take you through on the ACCA journey. So I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a moment, please. Right. So ACCA, the pathway is through the FIA. FIA is now a new one, which is replacing CAT, Certified Accounting Technician, right? And ACCA is one of the largest global body for professional accountants. To get ACCA as well as ICAW, both are your largest global professional bodies. Jack will take you through on the ICAW. The pathway to your ACCA, you can immediately join in after your SPM and IGSC. Not necessary to do your A-levels. If you do your A-levels, then you can join in straight into ACCA. But if you are doing your after your SPM, then you will do your FIA. And FIA is a one-year program. There are 7 papers together with 2 college papers. And then you get in to do your ACCA, which is a 2 years program, on the basis that you attempt the papers and pass in the very first attempt. So those are your 10 papers. And to get membership, so once you complete your relevant papers, you become an affiliate. And once you have your 3 years relevant experience, that's how you will get your membership. And subsequent to the 3 years, you have 5 years of working experience. That's when you will get your fellowship. And you can use both the titles ACCA and FCCA at the end of your name. And locally in Malaysia, you would want to register with MIA, Malaysian Institute of Accountants. To make a comparison, what is the benefit of doing ACCA with, or basically starting off with FIA versus if you were doing it with a degree program? It's actually a matter of preference. Even if you have a degree program, you can still attempt your ACCA. It's a longer pathway. So you will have your pre-U, then you will have your 3 years of degree program. Some people add on another 1 more year, that's for your honors, and then you will get exemption depending on which university you're from. If you can get the maximum exemption of your 9 papers, then you only have the 4 strategic level papers. If you do not get that maximum exemption, then the 4 are certainly the compulsory papers. You may still have another 1 or 2 more papers to attempt. Depends on the university and depending on what were the papers that you took. Yeah, and if when ACCA does a review, if it is adequate, you will get the maximum exemption of 9 papers, and then you need your 3 years of work experience, and then you get to use your title of ACCA. Versus if you did your FIA, which is a 1-year program, a 2-year program for ACCA, 3 years of working experience, and you gain your ACCA title in 6 years, whereas here it's another additional 2 years. There are some who prefer to take the degree route. However, asking us, we will always say go for this, which is a faster, better route, and you have got exposure to the FIA papers, all the ACCA papers, which will be beneficial in the long run, right? So it will be worthwhile. These are your papers for your FIA, right? So you have your management accounting, and at each stage you will get sort of the certificate. So it's introductory, intermediate, and then you get your diploma in accounting and business. And these are the 2 additional papers: financial planning, regulation, and professional ethics. right? And if you have got your if you have done accounts at SPM, and if these are your grades, then you will get exemption. However, you will still attend the classes to get the exposure and a basic understanding. However, you do not need to sit for the exam. For the ACCA subjects, this would be your applied knowledge. If you have done your CAT, then you will get exemption of these 3 papers. You will straight away start off from your skills levels, which are your 6 papers. And if you did the degree program, most likely you will, if everything is in order, you can get exemptions of the 9 papers. Then you will only need to attempt the strategic level, which are the 2 essential module papers: strategic business reporting, strategic business leader, and any 2 from here. There is no preference. It all depends on the student or the candidate's choice. What interests you is financial management, your paper, performance management, tax, or audit. Choose any 2 from here. And some of you may probably be wondering, why would you want to choose ACCA? What's the benefit of it? It's a world-recognized qualification. There's a world of opportunities. These are some of the latest stats: 219,000 members, 527,000 students, and it's in 181 countries. And the beauty about ACCA is, if you your job is such that you need to be mobile and you're traveling, and supposedly if you're based in Malaysia and you have something going on in another country, and if you know that you're going to be there around the exam time, you can easily select your exam center anywhere in the world. It's up to you, right? Of course, you have to plan it, but you can't change it at the last minute. 8,500 employers trust ACCA. It's been existing for 116 years. Large network. ACCA has got its own LinkedIn. There's also ACCA careers. High status in the eye of an employer and your clients. So when you tell them that you're an ACCA grad and you have got your membership, you certainly get another look. That's recognition on that. Flexible study, duration, combination, and place, which is what I was mentioning just now. You can decide to take 1 paper, and if you're very tied up at work, you may decide to skip a semester, which of course we will not encourage, but this is what we are talking about in terms of flexibility, right? And so the combination and place where you want to do it. Practical experience is essential to attain membership. Right, so you need to have 3 years of relevant experience. It's not just 3 years of working experience, but relevant experience: audit, tax, finance, anything that is relevant. And it will need to be endorsed by your employer, submitted to ACCA, and then you will gain your membership. QC, right? We have us, Sunway TES, approved learning partners. We have had our platinum status right from day 1 till today. We are very strongly holding on to the platinum status. And additional, as a bonus, we have the Masters of Science with University of London. It's a collaboration with ACCA. It's offered in Sunway TES. So let me sum it up. If you join Sunway TES and you take on the FIA, then you will do your ACCA, and you can also continue on and do your MSc. It's a one-stop center. And when you join for the MSc program, you will also have access to the wide virtual library of UOL, right? Okay, and we have lectures here. You also have teamwork. You will be also collaborating with students from other countries. So it's a very interesting program. Just to let you know, in terms of ACCA, and if I take on this Bloom's taxonomy, these are your levels, right? And the terms that are used in your higher level, your analyze, evaluate, create, which basically means getting you to think out of the box. It's not about regurgitation. Information is provided to you. How are you going to justify? How are you going to provide, support in terms of what's your decision, all right? And these are known as HOTS, higher order thinking skills. What are your career path with ACCA? Right. So this is some of the feedback which I had obtained from the students. Right. So it helps them to obtain in-depth view of business organization and strategy. And this is not just from graduates. These are students who are still pursuing ACCA and they have not even completed, and they have realized benefits of whilst pursuing ACCA. Their critical thinking is further developed, able to view issues from a broad spectrum, problem solving, decision making, making them think out of the box. Wide range of academic scenarios which are related to your current situations. And the feedback they've also given is that many times when they participate in meetings and when they provide feedback, their views are taken into consideration, right? And they have got the confidence to to take senior position. Right? Opinions is sought upon, relied upon, enhanced self-image. All right, so these are some of the things that they have benefited whilst pursuing ACCA. So, what are your main components? This is depending. If it's from a degree program, then you only do the 4 papers of your strategic level. Right. So once you complete, you get a title, which is an affiliate. Then you need your 3 months of experience, needs to be endorsed by the employer, and then you will become a member, and 5 years thereafter you become a fellow. And this is a new add-on by ACCA. You get a certificate on this, and employers do look up on this, which is the ethics professional skills module. It's done online, and you will receive a certificate upon completion. And the areas that are covered are very practical to your work. This is what I was talking to you about in terms of the MSc in professional accountancy. So Sunway TES becomes a one-stop center. In terms of scholarships, certainly that would be in your mind, right? So what are the scholarships that we have? You can of course make more inquiries. So for SPM 8As and above, you will have full bursaries on the ACCA FIA, FIA tuition, exam fees, applied skills, examination fees are waived, and we have got numerous intakes, and these are the contact numbers. You may want to take a screenshot of this. At the end, I'm also going to put this up one more time. So in terms of scholarship, what's covered, you can have a rough view here. So we do cover the tuition fees, the external fees, and then, it depends on what your grades are. And that results to a savings of about 24,000. That's quite substantial in today's context. If you have got, your grades, if you have got 8 A's, whether it's A plus, A or A minus, this is the quantum of the scholarship. Highest amount is 9,000. Even if you have got 3 A's, whether it's A plus, A or A minus, you still get, something, and that's about 2,000. So the range of the scholarship is from 9 to 2,000. And you must be wondering, why do you want to choose Sunway TES? Well, you're a world-class institution, right? So 17 years of having the platinum status, right, from 2003 to 2020. This is the platinum status. Last year, we celebrated our 25th year, of anniversary. We have got consistent achievements. This is to date our latest results: 213 World Prize winners, 657 Malaysian Prize winners, total affiliates 6,663, CAT graduates 6,183. And I must say, very proud of this achievement of Sunway TES. These are astounding numbers. So. And we also, nurture secondary school students into world champions. We do provide support when they're preparing for their SPM results. We do have seminars for them. Right? These are some of our achievements, just some. There's a whole long list of it. You should come and visit our Sunway TES office. There's a wall of fame, and you will have more info on that. This is Aaron. He became the number 3 world top affiliate, first runner-up on the Deloitte Southeast Asia Tax Challenge. So this was, we gaining recognition to the school from where the student was, and became the ACCA World Prize winner for the FM Financial management paper. We had at one point 10 out of 11 papers of prize winners, right? And this is in terms of the ASEAN, they were the ASEAN champion for the Deloitte Risk Intelligence competition. This is just to name a few. We have much more than this. We also have experiential learning. In fact, this program is ongoing at this current moment, and they will be doing their presentation to the managers of the big 5 firms. Yes, they will actually bring in the managers from the firms for the students to do a presentation. It's a 1-week long program. We offer it to all our students. And sometime in 2019, we actually had a global session where we had candidates from Indonesia, Dubai, Bahrain, Oman, and India. That was really interesting. That the plan was supposed to be the same for this year, but of course, with the pandemic, it didn't happen. We have the lecture series for all the strategic level papers. Is something that we implemented for all the papers this year. We have been having it previously for the audit and for the tax papers, but now we are making it for all the papers. And we get experts to come in and to share or basically to pick up on current topics so that our students not only have textbook knowledge, but they also are able to have practical knowledge. We have strong alliance with the corporate sectors. I would say that Sunway TES is the only institution which has actually got offices by the big 5. So we have a section where we call corporate suites. All the big 5 have actually got an office. So when they come to campus and when they want to have interviews or they want to have any discussions with the students, this is where they will be seated, and they have decorated the office themselves with their colors. So I guess we are the only ones who actually have this. All right, so that's my session from ACCA. Please take note of these 2 individuals, Mr. Lee Chi Long and Evelyn. This is their contact number, and you can also go to our website, Sunway College, and you'll also be able to get the information. I will now like to pass the session to Mr. Jack to take you through for the ICW session.
Hello.
Hi, Jack.
I'm Jack. Hi.
Yes,
Good to see
the
you.
floor. Good to see you too. The floor is all yours now, Jack.
Sure. Okay. So I'm a senior lecturer here in Sunway TES, like Miss Kiran. So what I'm going to share with you today is about the program ICAW. Okay. So the ICAW stands for the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. So it has been established since 1880, right? That's 140 years of history, okay? And they are a part of the Chartered Accountants Worldwide, all right? A very exclusive membership. So in terms of doing the ICW program in Sunway, so what we have is actually we have 3 pathways. So if you are an SPM student, what you would do is you will come in as a CFAP student, and you will do a total of 12 subjects plus another 3 MPU subjects, right? And together with that, there is a 3 months of work-based learning, right? And you'll progress to the first year of the ICW, which is going to be another 12 more papers, another 11 more papers, right? And then moving on to going to the workplace, all right, getting a contract, a training contract, and from there on, the training contract for 3 years. And at the same time, you will also be doing 3 advanced level papers. So this is what you do. 1.5 years for CFAP, 1 year in ICW, and then you go out to work for 3 years. All right. At the same time, you will do 3 more of the advanced level papers. So if you are coming in from STPM, you do 1 year CFAP as well as the 1 year in ICW. And then you go and do the same as the rest, which is the training contract, which is 3 years. So, but if you are coming in as a degree student, so what you would do is you also go to the same track, all right? But what will happen is because you have gotten the degree qualification, you will start to work. And as you're working, you'll be doing the program part-time. So this is the pathway. And I'm going to specifically talk about the CFAP program and what is the difference between the CFAP program and the other programs that are in the market. So as I'm doing that, of course, I will also be highlighting to you how the ICW program actually prepares students towards the route of being a future CEO, right? Not just only an accountant or an auditor you are moving in the direction of being an entrepreneur as well. All right. So the structure for the CFAP program under the School Leavers program would be to do the 6 papers in CFAP and then additional subjects. And I will talk about the additional subjects in a while. Right. And of course, the 3 months work-based learning. So this particular training of the 3 months work-based learning is very unique because we don't really have a foundation program in the market whereby you actually go out to the Big 5 to actually work as an accountant or an auditor in the industry. So you will notice that this is very exclusive, and this is something that not all foundation programs would have. All right, so that's why this program is 1.5 years. Okay, and the main reason why we want to do this is because we need the students to have a good working experience because we believe in experiential learning. And when they have an experience working in the real world, in the foundation level, and then when they come back to do our professional level, they become a little bit more appreciative of the things that they're going to be learning. And where do they work in? They'll be working in places where we have a strategic alliance with, like what Ms. Kiran has mentioned, the Big 5. And of course, they have to be working in the approved training providers that is lined up with ICAW. All right. So the additional subjects that you're going to bring in, this is something that I want to emphasize a little bit about this program, which is very unique because nowadays, being a professional accountant is not just only about crunching numbers because you need to work very closely with people. All right, because we know with things like Industry Revolution 4.0, there will be a chance that people will say that things that are at the lower level will be very easily replaced. So what are things that will help the individuals enhance themselves is to ensure that they have soft skills. They have skills that cannot be replaced by computers and robots and artificial intelligence. So that's why in Sunway, we've designed the program to incorporate these subjects on top of the ICAW subjects, which are things like the English, which is very important communication skills, as well as interpersonal skills, thinking skills that will cover both critical thinking and creative thinking, and business maths, which is very important. Why? Because students nowadays will have to, or rather accountants will have to work together with data analysts. And data analysts need to work with statistics. And statistics is a very fundamental thing in data analytics that you require accountants to be very well versed with as well. So that's why we have to ensure that students have a good foundation in business mathematics, thinking skills to be able to solve problems, and interpersonal skills. And why do we incorporate that into CFAP program? Is because, as I said, you will be going out to work in the first foundation program within the last 3 months of the program. So without interpersonal skills, without the ability to solve problems, then you may have a little bit of a problem working in the real world. All right. So, and of course, there is also MPU subjects, which we also redesign it to ensure that the students are able to integrate all these subjects together, such as entrepreneurial skills. All right. Because as an entrepreneur, you will need to learn how to strategize. You will need to learn how to integrate technology. You will need to learn how to use your accounting skills, as well as making business decisions using management information. All right. So these are the things that when we have learned all the subjects in the certificate level, we incorporate everything and put it into the entrepreneur skills, whereby you will learn how to use things like the business model canvas that is going to help you to understand how a business actually works. And remember, this is all within the 15 months of your study. All right. So these are the things that we have. And at the professional level, we have also designed some very interesting, very important subjects that we find that the industry really needs, such as the design thinking for accountants. Because in the CFAP level, we have taught our students how to do critical thinking and creative thinking. But what is missing when they are doing this is the ability to collaborate, the ability to have empathy for the people that they are solving problems for. So that's why we put in this particular subject here. When they do design thinking for accountants, when they are going out to solve problems for their clients, all right, they will have to need to have this particular empathy for their clients. They will need to design and to define the problem that the organizations have very clearly and prototype and then test it out. And this particular mindset is going to help them to rise themselves above and beyond what the artificial intelligence could do. All right, so we are not just only going to give you soft skills, but we're going to give you the opportunity to apply those soft skills using a platform like design thinking. All right, and then from there on, use the technical skills that you have in ICW to be able to be relevant in the real world, right? And on top of that, because nowadays it's very important to have empathy, that's why we bring in also things like the community service, ethnic relations, right, which is all within the MPU subjects. So this is one very key important feature of our program that makes the accountant that comes from this particular qualification more relevant to the real world. So, and of course, this program is faster because of the fact that if you go through the CFAP pathway, just like the FIA program with the ACCA program, you'll notice that this is going to be faster than degree programs, and you can finish and complete this within 5.5 years, compared to if you do a degree program, that will be 8 years. And as I said, what is the key feature of the CFAP program is that it's fast, it has additional subjects, and we also have strategic alliances when we go out for training, and this is all going to be good practical experience for you. So those are the key 4 features of what the CFAP is. Now, I'm going to also highlight to you about the professional level. All right, I've talked about the certificate level. So these are the professional level subjects. Okay, and what is unique about this professional level subjects is that it will be technically integrated at the advanced level after the students have gone out to work. And we call it technical integration. So what is the meaning of technical integration? So while these students are working in the real world, what's going to happen is they will have the opportunity to combine subjects like financial management, business strategy and technology, and take this particular paper called strategic business management. All right. So with the technical skills that they have at the professional level and the experience that they have in the real world, what's going to happen is they will come back to our university, and then they will be tested to see how they are applying the business technology and business strategy and technology and financial management into this particular paper, and as well as the audit and assurance combined together with financial accounting and reporting. Those are the technical skills. And then here, like what Ms. Kiran has mentioned earlier on, we have to need to make sure that the students know how to use these technical skills to go on to a higher level of what we call the higher order thinking. So this is where we are testing our students at the corporate reporting level. All right. So by doing these 2 papers, we are combining both experience as well as technical knowledge. And once they have passed these 2 papers, we move on to the case study, which is the main paper that is going to incorporate all the papers that they've actually learned. So as you can see, the way that all these papers are integrated will help the students not just only learn from the textbooks, but also learn how to integrate them into real scenarios. Because at the case study, corporate reporting, and strategic business management level, what the students are actually acting on would be consultants to board of directors. And in fact, they will be very suited to be advisors to board of directors. So that's why when we talk about this particular qualification, all right, these qualifications as a professional accountant, what is important is we are preparing our students to be future CEOs, all right, because of the fact that how it is being integrated with both the technical as well as the experience that they have out there. And one thing interesting about this particular 3 papers is it is open book exam, because ICSW believes that knowledge is everywhere on the internet. So we are not going to test the students on memory work. So at these 3 papers, together with business planning in professional level, these 4 papers are actually an open book exam. You can bring in your textbooks, right, for the examination. Okay, because we want to see how you use the knowledge instead of you memorizing the knowledge, because the memorizing of the knowledge is actually at the certificate level. And very important, to integrate the Industrial Revolution 4.0, the year 2017 onwards, all right, up to today, 2020, the artificial intelligence, blockchain, cybersecurity, cloud computing, data analytics, Internet of Things, digitalization of taxes, and all this has all been incorporated into these 15 papers. All right, so you will be industry ready. You will be relevant to the what is happening in the real world, right? Because of the integration of the syllabus. And do take note, in 2021, all right, 2021, ICW took up one more step forward to prepare our students even to the higher level to be able to integrate big data analytics. And how do they do that? They have incorporated this particular digital audit platform into the examination, whereby students are given information from this platform, all right, that they are going to use the data analytics, right, to do the examination of the audit and assurance. And this was going to happen in March 2021. And for corporate reporting, it's going to happen in 2021. So a lot of people will think about, going for courses such as data analytics. Actually, those could be very easily replaced by artificial intelligence in the next 1 or 2 years. What we need to learn how to do is to work together with data analytics. And this is essentially, it's already incorporated into the syllabus and will be tested in 2021 onwards. So students will be industry ready when they go into this program. And one thing very interesting next year onwards would be all their textbooks would be online. So it will be ebooks. So what's going to happen is, of course, we will save the earth by saving 232 tons of paper, all right? And on top of that, a lot of students actually don't like to read nowadays because they don't have a lot of attention span. So with this ebook system, what it does is that you could actually convert text to speech. Instead of you reading the textbook will read to you, all right? And you can also do things like accessibility to exams. Oh, since the exams for the advanced level is open books, right? So if it's digital, so what's going to happen? This particular digital textbook will be available to you, including your annotation and your notes on the exam platform that you're going to be doing. All right. So these are the key features that ICW is moving ahead, all right, in 2021, that is going to make the students even more relevant. All right. So let's talk about a little bit about the fees. I think Ms. Kiran also mentioned this. A lot of students will be interested to know how much would this program actually cost. So the total cost of this program is about, estimated 73,000. But do take note, because you are going to be working with the audit firms in the last 3 papers. So what's going to happen is there is an ATE sponsorship. And because of that, all right, for the advanced level, the fees are actually only 56,000. All right. And if you do get a scholarship from us with a 9As, the total amount of fees that you're going to pay is only 30,000. All right. And if you get 9A1s, the total amount of fees that you actually get is 6,490. All right. So that's the key thing about the program that is in Sunway here. That it's not just only industry ready. We are also interested to ensure that we give this opportunity to our students to be able to take on this program to make them industry ready. So if you're interested, of course, these are the scholarships that we have. Right. So, and with that, that's it from me. And these scholarships, where do they actually come from? All right, and actually, who came up with all these ideas, and how do we design all the systems that is going to be relevant to the needs of the individuals, or things like ensure that this program is relevant to the real world? So we would like to hear. Hear from our executive director, Mr. Teo Ising. All right, and we will have him join us with Ms. Kiran as well. Whereby we're going to be answering some questions that is going to, we have been collecting some of these questions that is, what the industry is actually interested in. All right, so we have got some of these questions that Mr. Teo will be answering. All right, so Mr. Teo, our executive director, all right, of Sunway TES and Sunway College will come in to join us. Okay. Hi, Mr. Teo. And Ms. Kiran will join us as well.
Hello, Mr. Teo.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Teo.
Yes.
We have a few questions that we have collected over the past few weeks when we had this particular session. So here are some of the questions that I think you are best to answer them. All right. So can we have them?
Okay. Thanks for the question. How does Sunway TES offer programs that are relevant through collaborations with industries and practice? Yeah, I think both the ACC and ICW program, it is very kind of like closely kind of like collaboration that we have been with the industry, especially the big 5 accounting firm. Yeah. For example, the ICW program through CFAB, we actually built in the so-called the work-based learning, or the work-based learning, which is WBL, or it is called internship. And this internship actually kind of like provide students the opportunity to have the exposure, especially with the big 5 firm. And on top of that, also for them to actually kind of like know better that the working environment, with the firm, and for them to basically make a more informed decision for them to continue and move on to complete the ICW, say, Chartered Accountant program. Yeah. And also, there's also requirement that they need to also sign a training agreement with the authorized training employer, the ATE. So with that, right, that is why we specifically built in the 3-month internship to ensure that students from day one, when they come onto the CFAP program, Sunway TES will ensure each and every one of them secure the so-called internship and also the 3-year training agreement. So effectively, right, it is like guarantee them, a job when they actually join the CFAP program. Yeah. So this is very unique for the CFAP ICW program. And for ACCA, in fact, what we have done also, how we collaborate with the so-called the Big Five firm, we actually introduced the Audit Simulation program. And this Audit Simulation program, in fact, what was presented by Ms. Kiran earlier on, is actually the only institution in the world who actually came up with this, the so-called, I can say, a real life, allowing the students to have the exposure so that when they join the firm later on, they have an kind of like better idea that what is expected of them. And also in terms of for them to be familiar with all the documentation files and everything that they need to know, rather than what they studied, in theory and from the books. Yeah. So this audit simulation, again, is also a very close collaboration with the Big Five firm. The students will actually go through 1 week, basically going through the files, compiling the audit working paper. And also before they actually kind of like start the simulation, the Big Five firm actually, again, they rotate. They actually come in to provide the workshop for the students. So that is basically what the Big Five is contributing. And also at the end of the 7 days, the so-called the simulation, the firm also sent in the managers to review the audit working paper file that is actually kind of like compiled by the students in that particular the audit team, audit group. Yeah. And that also gave the students, again, a real life, like kind of like the exposure that the after the manager have reviewed the audit working paper file, they were able to provide them with guidance. They were also able to kind of like provide them with the so-called whatever the like area that the students have missed out. They were able to kind of like highlight all this to them, and also an exposure for the students to actually kind of like meet the managers of the firm. And then this is actually a very kind of like I can say that a very big commitment from the firm, because we started off with requiring like they sending like one manager per firm, but now because the number of teams has been increased, we actually require up to 3 managers per firm. So effectively, it's a very big so-called commitment from the firm. So I think from these two, right, it is very clear that the Sunway TES, both the ACCA and ICW program, is actually the only program that really have the industry linkage and more or less provide the very secure, yeah, and also the opportunity to work in the Big Five accounting firm.
Okay.
Next.
Mr. Teo, if I may just add something, we did not let the pandemic hold us back, and this audit simulation this round is actually online. It's virtual. Normally, everything is on a hard copy, but this time, all the morning briefings, all the files, everything is actually online. So in a way, we have also basically been sustainable and cut down on our paper.
Correct.
So,
yeah. So I think the Monday, right? Coming Monday is actually tomorrow.
I mean,
this
Monday,
coming
yes,
Monday
Monday, sorry.
will
Yes.
be the so-called, yeah. So even for the review, right, which was face to face in the past. So this time, even the audit review of the audit working paper will also be conducted online virtually. Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously, we also have kind of like more or less, like move towards the because of pandemic, we also have now moved on to more in terms of like the normal simulation become virtual audit simulation. Yeah.
Yes.
We still have a second question.
Okay, how does Sunway TES develop well-rounded individuals? Yeah, I think from the so-called from the start, right up to them kind of complete the professional or graduate. Yeah, and it's also because it's evidence from my earlier so-called explanation on how Sunway TES work closely with the Big Five. So the key is always in terms of what the employers require of them. So we actually kind of like get a lot of feedback. We work very closely with the firm, and we also get seek feedback from them in terms of how our graduates are performing, in the respective kind of the jobs. So all these feedback we gotten from the firm, and what we do is we then look into how we can integrate all these onto the so-called the structure that they are going through, the journey that they come through with Sunway. So depending on whether if they come through from CAT onto the ACCA, they will have with the Sunway between 3 to 3.5 years, and similarly for the CFAP ICW program, they will be with us for at least 2.5 years of full time, and then later on part time. So within this timeline, they are with us. We try our level best, to build in whatever skill set that employers require. It's actually difficult and very, very challenging simply because they have to pass all their professional papers, professional exam. So that is the priority. Yeah, each and every step, every path, and every level that they have to go through, the priority is to ensure that they pass the professional exams. But at the same time, we also want them to the grow during that the duration with us, whether it's 3.5 years or whether it's 3 to 5 years. We want to make sure that when they step on to the employer, they are basically job ready. That's the key. Job ready means that the employers will have little kind of like need to equip them anymore. So what we have done at Sunway is to ensure that at the every step they are with us, we built in all these skill sets. Yeah. So starting like for example, the program like Nurturing Business Champion. This is where each and every one of them who come in when they start with the CAT program or CFAP program, the Nurturing Business Champion is actually built in, whereby each kind of like each class is then divided into, say, if it's a 30 students, each team will be about 4 to 5 students. So they have to form the team, and from that, basically, each of the team they form up, they will then have to work closely together to come up with products, and after they've done all that, they will also have to then each and every one has to also do a presentation. Yeah, and we even kind of like use this as part of like a competition, and during this competition, in fact, at the final, we have actually the so-called partners, directors from the HR partners and directors from the Big Five firm actually come in to be the judges as well. So in fact, from the start, the students at Sunway are being exposed even to the HR departments of the Big Five firm already. And when they move up, we build in all the additional skills. Yeah, like for example, for ACC, we also have the the lecture series that is at the professional level. And also, the audit simulation is a further kind of like, is to ensure that when they go on to work, they are not totally lost. So that is why, to build them and to also to equip them. And also we provide them, even with, for example, the resume writing, we make sure that they are able to, when they go in for interview, they can present themselves, they know how to kind of like handle the interviewers, and all these are part of the so-called the structure that we have built in, not just in terms of like getting them to pass the professional paper. That is something that obviously it's, it's our responsibility. But in addition to that, during the journey that they are at Sunway, we actually built in all this. So the students who are actually joining Sunway, in fact, they are really privileged because they are not just coming in to pursue a professional qualification. They are actually coming in with not just eventually graduate, with a professional qualification, but they are equipped, with all the skill set that's needed for them to go into the workplace. Next.
Great. Next question.
So how does Sunway TES prepare students
to be resilient and adaptable, which is key skill sets needed to survive through the ever-changing environment? I think it is very clear that with the pandemic, a lot of the so-called instead of face-to-face class, we have basically reverted the class to online, and all these changing. We obviously make sure the students are also equipped with that. But also one thing is like the professional bodies like ACC and ICW, they actually kind of like are the forefront of the to ensure that their syllabus are relevant, their graduates are basically meeting the demand of the industry. So they are the one moving forward and change, and obviously as a provider like Sunway TES, we actually have to basically to also ensure that whatever the professional body have changed, we also have to follow very closely. So in terms of I can say that the examination sites, most of the, like for example, ICW, all the 15 papers are now fully computer-based exam. Not just in terms of like, taking the exam in a computer lab, but also they are now, because of the pandemic, they even allow the remote invigilation, whereby the students are even able to take the exam from home. But of course, they will need to be kind of like strictly monitored to ensure that whatever security features require of them, they need to also comply. And similarly, ACC side is also moving towards the computer-based exam as well. So all these changes, and also in terms of integrating the technology onto the syllabus, as I think what Jack has mentioned, the AI, the big data, all these data analytics, students, will be kind of like required to study all this, and so that when they graduate on, they are basically equipped. For Sunway TES, I think on our side, we will incorporate all these skill set, to ensure that when they kind of like graduate, they are kind of like meeting the so-called the employers requirement.
And I think,
Okay,
Mr.
next.
Teo, you also, just to add on, I think when we had the pandemic happening, you also came up with the hybrid system whereby we could actually have students being in different locations and they can also come to our college. So I think all this methods that you have actually implemented actually help the students to excel, that we are always ready in the campus. On top of that, they can always come online to actually have the class. And in fact, I think when we look at the results, some of our students in Vietnam and in Singapore also did excel even though we were online. So the whole system does work.
Yes, certainly.
Correct. Yeah.
Next
So
question.
that
Yeah.
also, I think, I have to thank the lecturers who are basically kind of like, able to also adapt, very quickly. Because it's true, when the MCO takes thing, your lecturers only have a couple of days to actually kind of like familiar, with the online teaching and all that. Yeah. So then obviously,
Yep.
it's, we know that when the ministry allow us to bring the students back into the campus effective July, that's where, and again, we kind of like then move on with the hybrid structure, allowing the flexibility, for students to be in class and also off class. Yeah. And everyone is being supported well. Yeah.
Definitely, Mr. Teo, because I think to be able to train our students to be resilient, we also have to be resilient.
To be
Otherwise,
resilient,
they won't learn
exactly.
properly.
Jack, you said it right. And Mr. Teo, we actually had to convert all our material overnight.
Yep.
Yeah. And when the second MCO set in, we were, of course, much ready. In fact, I would say that we probably had a bit of hiccups in the first week, but thereafter, we were fine. Of course, it required change, and we have to be flexible to change. Then we can get our students to the same.
Okay, can I have the next
All right.
question?
Yep.
Yep. How does Sunway TES stay ahead of its game, Mr. Teo? Oops. Very important
I
question.
think,
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
he's here.
So I think in terms of, if you look at the, when kind of like what Kiran presented is like, the platinum status of Sunway TES that we actually achieved it from day one, and now it's like it's 17, but it's coming into 18 years. Yeah.
Yes.
So this shows that we never kind of like neglect on the quality, especially in terms of like ensuring the pass rate for both the ACCA and ICW program. So it is evidence that from the so-called the pass rate that we are able to ensure that the students do well in the professional exam. But again, the key is also to bring in all these innovation. Yeah. To bring in an innovation. Yeah. It's actually a very not easy. Yeah, because the amount of resources required to actually run that scale of simulation. We are talking about 300-400 students. Yeah, and divided into so many groups. Yeah, and to provide the kind of resources and also to get the support from the industry. All these, right, is actually something that Sunway TES always ahead of the game. Continue, to provide like the hopefully they will continue to be the preferred the demand by the big accounting firm. Yeah.
I think we are having a bit of a connection issue. But meanwhile, while we wait for the connection to reestablish itself, okay, there. Maybe we could also now invite some of the audiences to see if there are any questions that they want to ask us, or especially Mr. Teo, while Mr. Teo continue to explain to us, how we stay ahead of our game. If you have any questions, do please ask. Okay. Connection is still off.
Mr. Teo, I have a question for you then. What would be the benefit of doing either ACCA or ICW in Sunway TES as a campus? Apart from having all the tie-ups with the relevant firms and all that we offer. Oh, we have a connection issue again, Jack.
Yeah, that's right. So,
Okay, I will probably then. Mr. Theo, would you like to take that question?
Just hang on a second.
Which question?
Okay.
I think maybe before we go for Ms. Kiran's question, the last question, perhaps we could have the last question that we were supposed, the last question about the opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Theo, you want to continue with this one? How does Sunway TES stay ahead of its game?
Okay, I think maybe what we can do at this point is probably we could flash out the last question, because I think the last question would be something that myself and Ms. Kiran would be able to also explain, right, on the opportunities. So I think what happens about the what we call the scholarships that we actually have, right? That we mentioned just now was the Sunway TES ICW Global Accountant Scholarships, right? Which is the 9A and above for achievers, whereby you could actually get a full scholarship on the CFAP. And for the SPM 9A plus, all right, and above achievers, they will actually get a full scholarship on the CFAP and ICW. Okay. And for the STPM students, all right, A level and 3As and above, they will get a full scholarship if they were actually being able to achieve the 3As, right? So Kiran, your side, on the ACCA side, what are the scholarships available for the students?
The scholarship was, they can start off from the SPM. Those are the scholarships which is depending on what how many A's they have. And once they join Sunway TES, even if they become prize winners, whether they are Malaysian prize winners, then they will get a scholarship for the relevant paper. And if they are a world prize winner, then they basically get a full scholarship. Even for the fees that they have paid, they will actually get a refund. So it's really worthwhile for them to pursue very hard and to gain excellent marks and to be a topper in the whole of Malaysia or to be a topper in the world.
Okay.
So I would think that many students have actually benefited from this scholarships, Jack.
And I think apart from the specific scholarships that we have for ACCA and ICW, there is also the Jeffrey Chia Scholarship.
Yes,
right. And if you are a
also.
sportsman, there is also scholarships for that, right? And the community scholarship that is given on the big needs basis, right?
Yes.
So all the scholarships are definitely available for the students. And I would say that, sometimes when I go into my classes, the question I ask them, how many of you are on scholarships? And you'll notice that, more than 50% of the students put up their hands up, like,
yes.
the kind of that the generosity that we have in this institution, because we are under a foundation. So perhaps Ms. Kiran, Mr. Teo, are you back into the can you still hear us, Mr. Teo?
Mr. Theo's screen is somehow like frozen. Yeah. Mr. Theo, can you hear us? Jack, you want to carry on?
I believe that at this point in time, Kiran, you did ask a question, very important question just now about the campus life, right?
Yeah.
About how does the organization that we have here actually does offer this particular opportunity for the students to not just only get a qualification that is a world-renowned qualification, right? They are able to also get experience from our collaboration with the Big Five, right, and the industry. So all these are going to give them the opportunity to learn, not just only from the academics, from the institution, from the industry, all right, but we provide an excellent campus for them to grow as an individual.
True.
Because you have to develop your soft skills, you have to develop your interpersonal skills, you have to join clubs to learn how to organize events, all right. So, and we have so many of our ACC and ICW students taking on leadership positions in the clubs and curricular activities, right? So that itself is going to actually give our students the edge, right? And definitely all those particular opportunities that we have is giving our students that extra oomph, right? That makes them the Sunway graduate that is truly, very different from the rest of the students that we have, right?
Having their on the resume with pursuing their education in Sunway TES, they basically get elevated up. And being in Sunway TES, in Sunway, they not only participate in the activities which are organized by ACC ICW, but they can also join the university activities, and this gives them a very wide exposure. Many have actually taken on leadership roles, and that has actually helped them to build themselves, given them confidence. Right? And these days employers are not looking just for those who are academically excellent. They basically want all-rounders as well, because within the firm they also organize many activities, and they have annual dinners. They actually look out for people who can help them to organize that. I think we have got some questions on the floor. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, sure.
Can I add
Sure,
one
Mr.
before
Please. Yes, please.
Yeah, because just now in terms of the scholarship, right? We also reward or award scholarships to students who actually win prizes for Sunway and Malaysia. So we actually have the Malaysian prize winner the scholarship, and also the World Prize winner scholarship. And in fact, for World Prize winner scholarship, right, we actually kind of like fully waive, their tuition fees, for their remaining so-called papers. So again, it's not just the scholarship that we normally award, but students who perform well, who actually, obviously contribute, towards the Sunway and also Malaysia, they are also being recognized as well. And I think from the slide just now, for the ACCA, we have 213, CAT ACCA with 213 world winner. And all these 213, they are all our scholarship, so-called, And I think for ICLB also, we have 26 so-called individual papers winners as well. Okay, so that's what I want to say.
So anything, Mr. Teo, one last line that you want, because just now when you were talking about the, how the Sunway TES actually stay ahead of its game, perhaps you can give us a final line to tell us, what is the key success factor of why do you think that, Sunway TES is ahead of its game, and students coming into our program, what will they actually gain from the Sunway TES advantage?
I think continuous so-called and innovation, and also to continuously improve, our so-called, our performance. That is very critical. So that is why I think we are the probably only institution, in the world for professional accountancy that we actually kind of like, analyze the students' result. We discuss that very closely with the lecturers, meetings after meetings, to see how we can actually support the students better. We have intervention the program. We have PEL, which is basically the program that we actually provide support, tutoring support to the weaker students, because not all students, basically are good in every subject. So some students, they might have difficulties on certain subjects. So all these, right, interventions are actually very, very important and very critical, simply because once we provide students with all these support and guidance, they will have better kind of like, I can say, they will able to perform the exam better, and they will kind of like able to do well and progress well in terms of like moving, on to their like the higher levels and eventually to become professional graduate. So we built in all these structure, but at the same time, we also look into, especially working with the employers, to see what they want and what need to be built in. And when obviously, there's the area that they like require us to enhance, we certainly will do all that. So these are all the things that has been we've been doing it, for the past many years, and we'll continue to do that, to ensure that the graduates, are being sought after by the employers.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Teo.
Mm.
I think,
Thanks.
yeah, there's a question here.
Any scholarship interview chance for below requirement? Well, scholarships are usually gone based on merit, and there's another way. If you don't get your scholarship at the entry level, you can certainly work very hard. Mr. Teo, I mentioned it, and Mr. Teo re-emphasized that if you can be a Malaysian prize winner or a world prize winner, aim for world prize. I would say that aim for the world prize, and your whole thing will be waived. Right, Mr. Teo?
Correct. Yeah. Also, we also do have the community the scholarship.
Scholarship.
That is based on so-called result. Yeah. So they are very much in terms of like the needs of the student. So obviously, if they don't have the so-called 8 A's and above or 9 A's and above, they will still kind of like able to apply. But our entrance scholarship actually do also catered for students. Yeah. They have based on the number of A's that they achieve in the SPM result or O levels. Yeah.
Just
Okay.
for clarification, community scholarship means when you have financial issues, that's where the community scholarship comes in. And if you're looking at your entrance, then it's purely on results. Right, Mr. Teo?
Correct, yeah. Mm. But we are also now going to move on and working in partnership with employers. So we're going to introduce
Oh, that's nice.
new scholarship, working closely with employers, and hope that from there there will be more students who have the opportunity not just to get the Sunway own scholarship, but also join scholarship with employers. So this will be for 2021 onwards also.
Okay,
right.
this is something new. This is interesting.
Yep.
Right. Do we have any more questions? Will the ACCA Accelerate students also be eligible for the scholarship for professional modules? Dr. Intan, apa khabar? Nice to have you here online with us. Mr. Teo, remember Dr. Intan?
Yep, correct. Yes, remember her. Hi, Dr. Intan.
All right.
So you want
In
to
terms
take
of,
the answer? You take the answer?
you want to take, go ahead, Mr. Teo.
No. In terms of the accelerate students, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, we do have the Yayasan Peneraju Pendidikan Bumi Putra scholarship that refers to called PPAS, PAPAS. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then students will actually, if they basically eligible. Basically, important thing is they meet the 9 papers exemption, and the remaining 4 papers will be actually they were able to get the so-called scholarship from Yayasan Peneraju to complete the remaining 4 paper. And it's actually very attractive because not just the scholarship covered the professional fees and also the tuition fees, but also the students are basically allowed to do the 4 papers full time, and they are also given the allowance and also accommodation allowance as well. Yeah, so it's actually very attractive for the students who have completed the degree or using or basically the accelerate students. Yeah.
Yes. All right, I guess we have indeed come to an end to this wonderful Saturday afternoon. I hope and I trust all of you have been enlightened. Should you require further clarification, please call us. You can get our contact number and contact info from our website, Sunway College. We also have it on screen here. Please contact Mr. Lee Chilong or Evelyn. All right, and I have got one more news for you, which is very interesting. Those of you who have enrolled, guess what? You're in for a lucky draw. There are some interesting prizes. We were actually planning to do it this afternoon, but then we realized that there were quite a fair bit of questions. So the admin office will contact you, and there are pen drives and many other things that will be won. All right. So do keep a lookout. You may be a winner of some of the things that we have in store for you. So with that, adios, farewell from the Sunway TES team. And if you have not enrolled, do come and join us. I trust we have convinced you.
Yep.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Jack.
Bye.
Thank you, Mr.
Bye,
Phil.
everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you for with us. Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.